The word genius is descriptive of a person. It's not the only word in the world to use to describe mental brilliance, but it does have a lot of bearing on myself and my music.
Beach Boys founding member Brian Wilson today on Now I've Heard Everything. I'm Bill Thompson. Brian Wilson is widely regarded as one of the most influential music figures of our time. As a founding member of the Beach Boys, Wilson led a revolution that went far beyond just the California sound, beyond pop music generally. But fame and success come at a price. And for Brian Wilson, that price was his mental health and later his physical health. And substance abuse further complicated his life. Yet Wilson continued to create and innovate and perform. And in 1991, he became an author. He wrote a book, a memoir called Wouldn't It Be Nice? And that's when I met him. Now, I have to tell you that this was an uncomfortable interview to do and an uncomfortable interview for me to edit this week because his mental decline was apparent. During the interview, it was very difficult to get much out of him other than 1 or 2 word answers, not because he was being uncooperative, but I'm not sure he was of sound enough mind to give longer answers, at least that day in 1991. Now, as I was listening back to the interview to edit for this podcast, I realized this was a really disjointed sounding interview. So what I've done, in full disclosure, I've edited it down, closing up some of those awkward gaps that would make the interview otherwise pretty uncomfortable to listen to. I have not changed any substance of the interview, just making it a little bit more listenable, that's all. But he does have some very interesting things to say. In just a moment, our conversation.
Come back with us now as we relive a little piece of our cultural history on Now I've Heard Everything. This interview is from Bill Thompson's 30-year archive. Enjoy.
So here now from 1991, Brian Wilson.
Why did you write this book?
Well, we basically we wanted to write a book that revealed the real true incidences of my life, so that we could get something out there truthful. Because a lot of the books that were written about us weren't very truthful or factual.
Far from it. There have been a lot of lies told about you, haven't there?
Yes, there have been.
Why is it important that you straighten out? So many of these things are so obviously lies. Why dignify them by even addressing them?
I don't know.
But there was a story inside you that wanted to come out?
Yes. There was feelings that wanted to come out. A story, feelings, vibes, type of vibes and stuff.
When did you first know that you were very talented musically? When did you know that you could that maybe you could make a living being a musician?
When? I don't know. Let's see, probably 1960, around there. 61, maybe? I think so, yeah.
And you knew you were good?
Yeah, I knew I was pretty good at music, yes.
There is a word in here that is used frequently about you, and that's genius.
Yes.
Other people call it. Put modesty aside just for a moment. Is that too strong a word?
No, the word genius is descriptive of a person. It's not the only word in the world to use to describe mental brilliance, but it does have a lot of bearing on myself and my music.
Do you consider yourself an artist? Are you creating great things that will stand forever, or are you just having fun?
I'm just having fun. I'm letting the big guys do that stuff. I'm just having fun. Yeah.
Your stuff is still being played. I can hear your stuff on any radio station in any city in America. There's a station right now that's playing one of your songs.
California Girls was a good record.
Does it make you uncomfortable when you hear your songs in commercials?
No, I'm proud. Yeah, I'm proud.
There's so many stories that you tell us in the book that are very moving in their own way, whether you're describing you or the group or your dad. Were there parts of the book that were very difficult for you to put down on paper?
Yeah, the part where I got sliced in half with a 2x4. But I had a lot of very bad abusive behavior that my dad did. He hurt me pretty badly.
Why did you think it was important to tell us about that?
Well, because I thought maybe if I did it was therapeutic at the time. I was talking to Todd Gold, who took down all the information on a tape recorder and converted it onto paper. But no, it was rough.
The part that touched me was when you described listening to your dad's song on the Lawrence Welk Show.
Yes, Two-Step Sidestep on the Lawrence Welk Show, yes.
What a moment.
Yeah.
To see the other side of Murray Wilson, to see him. I felt as though you showed me a side of him that you thought and that you wanted us to think that yes, he had a whole other side to him. This was a man with feelings.
A great, sincere man with great musical abilities. With a great musical ability.
Why don't you think he ever had any words of encouragement for you? Was he jealous of you?
I don't know. He never seemed to tell me anything too positive, but I don't know. I guess he just didn't like me.
When you think back on all the songs that you're known for, which ones come to your mind first? When you think of the Beach Boys, what songs come to your mind first?
Good Vibrations, California Girls, Do It Again, Little Honda.
Made so many people so happy. Why were you so unhappy? You described the experience of being with the Beach Boys as the pressure cooker.
Right.
Well, how did it become that?
Well, after a few years, you have to live up to your name. You get a name going, and then you got to live up to it, which is the hardest part. Actually, it would be to live up to your name. To keep creating things on that same par that you did when you first started out. That was the hardest part of all for me, was to have to live up to our name, to my name.
I guess you can't put a deadline on creativity. You can't say, come up with a great song by Friday.
No.
After this short break, Brian Wilson explains why he didn't just say no.
Are you enjoying this conversation so far?
And would you like to get a copy of the book we're talking about?
Just tap the link in our show notes or visit our website, heardeverything.com.
When you make a purchase through our affiliate links, you're also supporting this podcast.
And we thank you for your support.
Now back to my 1991 conversation with the great Brian Wilson.
Why did you give in to drugs?
Drugs were the real, true happiness in my life beside music. And I had to have them. I was just a drug freak for many years. I loved drugs. I loved past tense, not now. I loved drugs. They were great. They screwed my memory up. In my brain.
Did they make you more creative, or did you think they did?
They did for a while, and then they stopped doing it. I thought I was being more creative, but then when I came down off the drugs, I said, that's nothing.
Looks quite different when you come back down.
Yes.
Didn't you ever stop to add up all the money that you sucked up your nose?
Yeah, a lot. Thousands and thousands of dollars. $25,000, $50,000.
Just the scene of you rummaging around the house looking for a royalty check so you can get a little bit more. That's sad.
I know. I was a total slave to my habit, to the habit of drugs. I'm okay now, though. That's the main thing.
I was just gonna say. I mean, you look remarkably well.
I'm all right. I'm fine. I'm doing all right.
So much has been written about you they want to focus. It seems that writers want to focus on the problems that you've had, the drugs. Yeah. You were overweight. You wouldn't wash. Wouldn't it be better if we just talked about your music? Do we need to know about all the rest?
I don't know. I needed to do it. I think in writing this book, I found peace of mind. That there could be something that revealing. It's almost funny. It's almost funny. You know, you can interpret it on a funny level. Yeah, it's almost a funny thing.
What does it feel like to be up on the stage and you've got tens of thousands of people, paid money? These people have spent their money to listen to you.
Yeah, it is quite,
and to your song.
It's quite an experience. It really is. It's quite the experience.
Does it compare with the taking of a drug?
No. It's much better than taking drugs. Much better.
Did you feel like that you had to take drugs to recreate the feeling that you got when you were on stage?
Well, to some degree, not all the time, but enough of the time to constitute a complete drug dependency.
When you look back and when you look at some of these pictures, as you were putting on weight, as things started to deteriorate for you, does it feel like you're looking at somebody else, not you?
It almost started to feel like that for a while. You know, when I got way out of whack. So I was so out of whack that I couldn't function.
Many people think that Dr. Landy has somehow duped you, has somehow, he's weird, is what a lot of people say. And you say what?
Oh, I say he's logical, very sane. He's a logical and sane man. He's not crazy at all.
Would you be alive without him?
No, I'd be dead.
Even though his methods are very unusual.
That is true.
Do you still see him?
I talk to him occasionally. We're separate. Oh, I don't want to talk about that part of it. It's too rough for me. It's too tough.
What do you do now?
Oh, I don't know. I just I work with my partner. I do various things depending on what I'm right now. I'm doing a book tour. I'm on my first official book tour, and this is my first book. And I sure hope people out there like it.
I enjoy the music so much, it's almost painful for me as a fan to read about your pain that was happening during the making of the music that I've enjoyed all these years.
Well, it was a joy making the music. We tried different techniques in recording, such as live bands. And when it got up to about 8-track, as soon as things evolved up to 8-track, we made good vibrations on an 8-track machine. It was amazing. It was totally amazing what you can do with in a studio with the right machines and the right equipment.
And the things you could do outside the studio if you took your recorder out and recorded at the beach or a car.
Oh, no. Well, I want to do some vocal things that'll be great too. I think this next album, I want choirs. I'd like to have a whole choir on it. Yeah.
Was there ever any kind of music you wanted to do but felt you couldn't because it wasn't the Beach Boys image?
Reggae music, yeah. Reggae music. I like it very much. Reggae music. Or reggae, is that it, how it's pronounced? Reggae. I think it's a great music.
Brian Wilson is 82 now. He stopped touring in 2022, and his family says he now suffers from dementia. Now, you can get your copy of Wouldn't It Be Nice by Brian Wilson by tapping the link in our show notes, by clicking the link in the description below if you're listening to this on YouTube, or by going to our website, heardeverything.com. We may earn an Amazon commission if you make a purchase. Heardeverything.com is where you can also find my 1991 interview with Sonny Bono.
When I finished I Got You, Babe, I said, this is going to be a smash. There was no doubt in my mind. I had absolutely 100% certainty. And those are magical moments as far as songwriting is concerned.
And my 1993 conversation with one of the original Monkees, Mickey Dolenz.
The censors and the record companies wouldn't let us get away with too much more, but it's take the last train to Clarksville, see you in the morning, don't know if I'm ever coming home. It's a soldier going to Vietnam.
And of course, we post new episodes of Now I've Heard Everything every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and you can find us everywhere you listen to podcasts. Thank you so much for listening. Next time on Now I've Heard Everything, she was one of America's most successful women. She wrote a book in 1988 showing other women how to be successful. We'll revisit my 1988 conversation with Dr. Joyce Brothers.
No, I don't believe Superwoman exists, and too many women have had the idea sold to them that they can have it all at all times. Men don't have it all either.
That's next time on Now I've Heard Everything. I'm Bill Thompson.